Words cannot describe how terrible the Buffalo Bills played today. This is one of the most embarrassing playoff losses I've seen in quite some time. For a team that was favored to go to the Super Bowl, to lose in such a disappointing fashion at home. There's no excuses. Coming into this year, I sat back and said that this is the year the Buffalo Bills need to make the Super Bowl. At some point, you have to start questioning things if you can't get out of the AFC. For a team as talented as the Buffalo Bills, with the quarterback they have, the weapons they have, the defense they have, the coach they have, with what you have, you should be a good enough team to be able to compete and get to a Super Bowl. In 2020, you got to the AFC Championship game. You lost to Kansas City because you couldn't get to Patrick Mahomes. You didn't have a pass rush. You spend the draft in the offseason beefing up your pass rush. You get a second opportunity to go up against Kansas City, and you lose in the divisional round in overtime. You spend another offseason beefing up your defense and making sure they're good enough to help you in the postseason. And yet here you are in the postseason once again. In a year where you were favored. Everyone came and said Josh Allen was going to be the MVP. The Bills were one of the favorite people to get to the Super Bowl this time. Finally break free. In a year where you knew you needed to get to the Super Bowl to make a statement. You needed to get to the Super Bowl to prove yourself. In a year where you were favored. In a year where you played so well. For you to lose like this. For you to go out like this, that says a lot about your franchise. And that says a lot about your chances moving forward. The AFC is wide open. Kansas City is going nowhere. Cincinnati is now legitimately, they have solidified themselves as a legitimate threat. Hell, depending on what happens next week, they might be the favorites going into next season to get to the Super Bowl. They are here. The Cincinnati Bengals are real. They are here, and they have established themselves as one of the top teams in the league and one of the main threats to get to the Super Bowl and coming out of the AFC. They're here. They went into your building, in your house, in the snow, and beat you guys this bad. It wasn't close. From the get-go, Cincinnati came out, punched you in the mouth. You had no response. They went out there, again, punched you in the mouth. You had no response. The first half was a joke. It was a joke. You did nothing. In fact, the sad part about it is you did little to nothing in the first half, and then you performed worse in the second half. You didn't do anything in the second half. Absolutely nothing. 3 points of offense is unacceptable. What did you do? You didn't do anything. Just a shame. What an embarrassment. What a straight-up embarrassment. Josh Allen. Josh Allen, Josh Allen, Josh Allen. Oh, my God. You were favored to win the MVP this year. You didn't even come close. You didn't even come close. In a playoff game at home where you are favored, you perform like this. You had a touchdown run that you guys barely were able to get. Past that, you were inaccurate with the football. Couldn't really make a lot of good throws down the field. You looked like your 2019 self. You looked erratic. You looked like you took a step back from what you were prior to this. I honestly don't know what to say. You were a joke for much of this game. You were missing throws that you normally make. You were failing to convert on plays that you would normally convert. You looked awful. What was worse was the people around you. And you take a good chunk of responsibility there. But honestly, there was not much there from these receivers. Now, I know Stephon Diggs is very pissed off because there were plenty of times where he was open and you didn't get him the ball. Or when you did throw his direction, you overthrew him. So you and Diggs were not in sync in this game. But past that, there was not a lot of options. There wasn't really anything open there. And when there was just players not making plays. And that offensive line did you no favors. And I understand that. That offensive line was terrible today. That offensive line was terrible. But you didn't do much better when you did have protection. There was nothing there. The play calling, God knows what the play calling was. I mean, they're trying to force this run game to work so bad that it was just causing them to stall on drives. There was a drive where they chose to run the ball on first and second down for absolutely no reason. They have virtually no run game, and yet they're trying to force the run game to happen here against the Cincinnati Bengals. Was it working? It was awful. Play calling did not work. Execution was not there. The offense didn't do anything for you. But you know what makes the situation worse? What makes it worse is that the defense somehow performed worse than you guys because the offense didn't turn the ball over. The offense didn't turn the ball over. And they still found a way to make some points and move the ball down the field. They just couldn't finish drives. The defense couldn't even make a stop. They couldn't make a stop for much of this game. I believe they made 1 or 2 stops. Cincinnati was doing whatever the hell they wanted. If they wanted to run the ball with Mixon, they'll run the ball with Mixon. If they want to throw the ball in the air, Joe Burrow was dicing them. At some point in this game, early on in the first half, Joe Burrow was 9 of 9 on his completions with 2 touchdown passes. Are you serious? He should have had a 3rd touchdown pass, but Jamar Chase wasn't able to fully maintain control of that ball as he was falling out of the end zone. What a damn shame. What a damn shame. You were a team that was expected to go far. People expected the Bills and the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. And once again, you failed to deliver. At home. You're at home in Buffalo. And you're getting beat this bad. It's time to question things. You spent the last 3 years investing in your defense to prepare you for playoff games. Where was that secondary? Where was that pass rush? Where was the front 7 to stop the run? Where were you guys? Nowhere to be found. Couldn't stop a nosebleed. Couldn't stop the run. Couldn't stop the pass. When nothing was there, Joe Burrow took off. He picked up a first down. Every time they ran a play, it felt like they were picking up a first down. There's nothing there. Just nothing there. Just terrible. Just terrible. 7 points put up in the first half. 3 points put up in the second half. Awful. It's time to reevaluate yourself. I said this coming into this year. I said if you guys don't get into the Super Bowl, it's time to reevaluate the team. It's time to reevaluate your defense that you've been investing in for 3 years. It's time to reevaluate what you have on offense. And it's time to reevaluate coaching. Because you can't be this talented and blowing playoff games at home like this. No way in hell. That is not supposed to be the case. And when it comes to the situation with the running, you need to figure this out. You're a one-dimensional football team on offense. You can't run the ball. Singletary isn't getting it done. Cooks isn't getting it done. You need a premier back that can get this running game going. Figure out the run game. You better look to fix this offensive line. You need to improve this offensive line, and you need to get yourself a legitimate back. Because what is being displayed here is showcasing why you can't just throw the football and assume you're going to get to the Super Bowl. You need to have a balance. Cincinnati has a balance. It's not just Joe Burrow. Joe Mixon can go off anytime, and he can run the ball effectively. He did it today. They couldn't stop him. They didn't know when they were going to run a pass, and they had no answers for anything. You got a whole pile of defensive players trying to stop this man, Joe Mixon, and he's still chugging, and he's still moving forward, and he's still picking up first downs. It's time to reevaluate yourself. Seriously, it's time to reevaluate yourself if you're the Buffalo Bills. Take a good look at the team and figure out what you need to fix. If it's a coaching change, hey, it may just be a coaching change. Not specifically saying the head coach. Maybe it's the offensive coordinator. Hell, maybe it's the defensive coordinator after a game like this. Figure this out. Figure this out. If I'm the Buffalo Bills, I'm taking a good look at my coaching staff and figuring out why we can't get anything done with this talent on defense. Why is it when we get into playoff games, this defense doesn't show up? Last week was a great indication of what was going to happen this week. Nothing. Oh my God, a whole bunch of nothing. A whole bunch of nothing. Josh Allen was terrible on offense and the defense was atrocious. Absolute garbage. How can you have this much talent on defense and you can't make a stop? Is it the defensive coordinator that needs to be held accountable? Take a good look. If I'm Buffalo, I'm looking at my coaching staff and seeing what the problem is, especially on the defensive side. We can't have this much talent and failing like this. On the offensive side, I'm looking at this offensive line. I'm looking to improve it. And for the love of God, Josh Jacobs is out there. If you have to sign Josh Jacobs, sign Josh Jacobs. You need to fix this running game. And quick. Fix the offensive line and fix this running game. You desperately need to. Because this team has way too much talent to be choking like this in playoff games. You got embarrassed. You got embarrassed. My God, man. Get it together. And now you're going home. What a pathetic end to the season. With that being said, I want to congratulate the Cincinnati Bengals for going into Buffalo, pulling off the upset, and heading back to the AFC Championship game for the second straight year in a row to have another rematch with the Kansas City Chiefs. Mahomes has never beaten you guys in the Burrow era. He's never beaten Joe Burrow. So this means you guys have a great chance to go into Kansas City. You feel comfortable. You won there last year. You won there this year. You feel very comfortable going and playing in Kansas City and beating that team. You guys have a great chance to get back to the Super Bowl. With this postseason run, I think we can finally officially say this. The Cincinnati Bengals are for real. If you didn't think they were for real before, they are for real now. They have gone into Buffalo and beaten the Bills. They've beaten Kansas City last year. They've beaten them this year in the regular season. And depending what happens next week, they could very well beat Kansas City and head to their second straight Super Bowl. So congrats to Cincinnati for getting to the AFC title game and heading to Kansas City to take on the Chiefs, a team you feel very comfortable beating. I will say this, though. Cincinnati, this is your time to shine. This is your moment to shine. You guys are at the top. We've seen that in the division before with Baltimore and Pittsburgh when they've been at the top. What I'm trying to say here is you guys are at the top. You need to capitalize on this. There's going to be a stretch, a small era where you are going to be on top. Pittsburgh's had that era. Baltimore's had that era. When you are in the middle of being in that era and you're at the top, you need to capitalize on this. This is the prime time for Cincinnati to go and win a Super Bowl. Last year, you win the Super Bowl, you weren't able to get it done. This year, if you can get to the Super Bowl, you have to get it done. When you're at the top, you got to get it done. You're not going to be at the top forever, Cincinnati. This is your time to shine. This is your moment. Go out there and capitalize on it. You've beaten Kansas City. In fact, Kansas City has never beaten you when Joe Burrow has been on the field. So that should give you the confidence. You've gone to Arrowhead and you've won there. You should have the confidence to go there again and win, no matter what the circumstances presents you. This is your time to shine. This is your moment to shine, Cincinnati. Go out there and capitalize on it. You're for real. You've proven that you're for real. Everyone thought last year was a fluke. You've proven you're for real. Now it's time to capitalize. You are officially at the top. You need to finish this off with a title. You have to. You have to win a championship. When you're not going to be here forever. You're not going to be on the top forever. When it's your moment, when it's your time to shine, you have to go out there and claim it. Baltimore's had that moment where they're at the top, and they were able to capitalize by winning a Super Bowl. Pittsburgh was the same. If you want to be remembered for this moment in this era, you gotta capitalize on it. We've seen teams be in this moment and they failed to capitalize on it. We saw the Jets go to the AFC Championship game in back-to-back years, never got to the Super Bowl. You gotta capitalize on it. The Rams put everything on the line because they understood that their moment was now and they had to capitalize on that with a ring, and they were able to get it. Tampa Bay sacrificed years to get Brady and bring all these pieces here because they understood right now they have the talent to be at the top. That was their moment. They got a ring out of it. You guys are right now at the top. This is your moment. This is your moment. Go out there and capitalize on it. Win yourself a championship. Because you don't want to look back on this era when you're at the top and sit back and say, well, yeah, we were in AFC title games and we got to the Super Bowl. We just never won the Super Bowl. You don't want to be remembered for that. The Buffalo Bills know damn well how that feels because they went to 4 straight Super Bowls. That was their moment and they didn't capitalize. And we still bring up those 4 straight Super Bowl losses to this day. Cincinnati, go out there and capitalize on your moment. This is your time to shine. Congratulations on getting to the AFC title game. I wish you the best of luck in Kansas City. As for Buffalo, time to reevaluate everything. It's time to reevaluate everything. Your season is over. Take a good look at this football team and figure out what you need to do in the offseason. With that being said, that is all I've got, and I'm out of here, man. Peace.